Jeez, let's go. Um, all right, cool. Yeah, I know some people will probably trickle in. Honestly, presentation-wise this week was pretty chill because I know that there have been a few things that I've been working on low-key in the background. Was actually hoping to have tier two popped out today, but I think it's going to be midweek this week, just after getting some of the final touches on things and having to run through the combinations for clipping. But pretty stoked to get tier two out to you guys for TFFs, and then after that we'll be getting tier three all squared away for FFFs, and then TFFs sometime thereafter. But yeah, pretty straightforward presentation together. Okay. So yeah, jumping into quality of life updates for this week. After a little while, so I think it was actually Ovals that had reached out to us first, for seeing if we could remove royalties from their collections for raffles. Um, we kind of took a stance that like it really should be on Metaplex, since Metaplex are kind of like the owners of the rule sets with PNFTs, to really make like a decision around like if that would be okay. And the main reason for it was when folks were talking about like these non-marketplace functionalities for NFT usage. Foxy Swap is a unique one. I think peer-to-peer trading, non-marketplace based, is certainly a niche in the space that is needed, and we've seen that. And actually, someone had done stats where we were, I think, like 11, almost 12% of the general market share, which is kind of wild for peer-to-peer swapping, just in general, or the whole market share, but with our peer-to-peer swapping, which is wild. But once like NFT lending was put out there, people were kind of debating about if royalties should or shouldn't be enforced, especially on defaults, as it almost is like a sale, right? Someone's just putting up Sol, someone else is sending them an NFT. Basically, it's over a predetermined period of time and possibly at a loss, but nonetheless, it's still almost like a sale. And so we just took the position that we'll treat PNFTs as royalty enforced if that's what they want to do, by switching to a PNFT on raffles. And we just had a lot of people reach out to us about changing that. And so Ovals was the beginning. I think the player that that I'll say pushed me to the edge of really seeking out additional opinions was Bunjil, for Lotus Gang and Lilies. And I talked to Metaplex again, and Metaplex basically said that since they switched to a default deny list, that really Foxes could do whatever we want, and if a project doesn't like that royalties aren't enforced on a raffle, they can deny list our program, which I'm cool with. I think that makes the most sense. That's really why for a while we were kind of advocating for a default deny list. Anyway, it's a long story for saying that we've removed royalties for PNFTs. I don't remember the exact day that it was. Might have been like Monday, Tuesday this week. We just announced it on Wednesday. And so anyone that is doing raffles or have done raffles or interested in creating raffles, any that are PNFTs, you will not pay royalties on it. So, um, I think that then creates a lot of additional use cases for a ton of different PNFTs that are out there, and it doesn't eat into people's profits that they are using those NFTs for raffles if they don't sell out quite as many tickets. So, pretty pretty big news, honestly, based off of that as an NFT product, but nonetheless, I think super helpful for folks. And honestly, I think it's pretty good too for other projects, as they technically, should get a royalty on the purchase for someone wanting to raffle it, and then possibly royalty for someone selling it after they win, or eventually. So I think it's a win-win within the NFT space personally. And then the only other quality of life update that we did, a few people were asking me in DMs, and kind of in a bunch of different channels too for chat. But with the citrus contest that we have going on, which I'll just highlight in the next slide, for all of June, we did add in a contest filter on the citrus stats page. So I put the link here. It's not really going to matter that much, but you can get to the stats URL from our public announcement for it on our Discord. If you're in Citrus already, just go to the stats page. You'll see that contest filter option. Just select it, and you can see the total points for lenders and borrowers, and kind of see if you're within the top. I believe it's 10 that we have shown there, for getting closer to the top. And yeah, so anyone that's interested in checking their stats out, jump in there and check it out. So just to jump into and I guess like highlight some of the information for that citrus competition that we have going on, or contest. It's the prize pool is still, it has always been $25,000 USDC. The way we're breaking it apart is half for lenders, half for borrowers. And we're doing a points-based system, based off of the amounts of time that loans are taken out for. I know that 7 and 14 are probably like the most common used times, so as well as 3-day. 3-day are also fairly commonly used. So those would get, for 3-day, 1 point per soul; for 7 or 14 day, 2 points per soul; and then for 21-day loans, 5 points per soul borrower lent over that period of time. So it really depends on, if you're trying to farm points and such. 3-5-day loans, if you keep up with them enough, would be better than 21-day. But again, based off of it's all based off of like how active you want to be within the competition, and it's not like a crazy amount more, right? Like on 3-day loans as an example, you could do 7 of them in 21 days. You get 7 points versus 5 points, so it just depends on your strategy for it. And then the bottom point here is important. So there have been like a lot of people asking questions around like what counts, what doesn't count. Basically, at the end of the day, our goal is to make sure that people aren't trying to game the contest. There's a lot of trust that goes into some like private lending and all that kind of fun stuff. We don't want to change up those dynamics. So basically, as long as people aren't like deliberately gaming the system, like your volume will count. So the more people want to like mess around with things and lend out to new people, different terms, all that kind of fun stuff, highly would recommend checking that out. But just want to put it out there too, where people are caught gaming the system, then we're going to disqualify those individuals. So just worth mentioning. And it's our first time really doing something like this, so I'll say that we are learning as we go along with it. I know there's a couple of pointers that I've already taken back for the next time we run something like this. Um, but I think it's fun. I think it's captured, a good bit of attention, and I'm looking forward to kind of promoting it a bit more, trying to catch some more attention, and just drive some more people to kind of check Citrus out, basically. Next, which is the other like I'll say like fun thing that we've been having going on for the past like week and some change, is the DGen coin flip slash DGen fat cat, depending on how you look at the project. Um, they're working on this other project called Necros. They have like a pretty fun whitelisting system for it, which I think is neat. And it starts with these scrolls. So we got basically two different allocations for foxes. One just for like a normal allocation for the project, which I think was around 125 scrolls, if I'm not mistaken, which I actually think is a pretty sizable amount based off of what I had seen from other communities and such that were getting allocations for it. But we also had convinced them to give us basically double that allocation to include it into like our Foxy ecosystem. And so we had four different ways for being able to get these scrolls. And the scroll itself is like the start to getting the whitelist. You have to use, I think they call it a cat GPT, which is hilarious. System with like some style of like a game. I know I'm gonna butcher it, so I'll leave it at that. But you have to do something more once your wallet is approved to be able to use this cat GPT. And so we have not taken the snapshot yet for the missions chests. I think actually the last one had went out, if I'm not mistaken, shortly before I created the presentation. So I actually was going to put in here that there were still a few left to be claimed via chests, but then the last one went out. So right now, all of the tokens that we had created have been sent out to wallets, and we're going to take the snapshot. I have no idea when, but within the next 24 hours, and include that with the rest of the wallets we've already taken for um, the Foxy raffle, the Flip raffle, which we've posted both of those in our announcements if you want to go see if your wallet is included in them. And then also the whitelist token redemption, which I'm not sure how many of those have been claimed. I need to double check with the whitelist team for how many have been claimed, how many are still open. And then once we have that full list set, we're going to send it over to their team. And then I'll shoot out a item in the events notification section just to let people know that like your wallets are good to go, or that you have to go do the cat GPT thing in order to try to get your whitelist allocation for necros. So I'm probably gonna ping a few roles on that just because I have no idea who all has them, and should try to figure out like those exact people. So I'm probably gonna ping like Event Fox. I'll probably ping Foxy Pixels and FoxyDAO just because of the missions chests, and it's actually probably it. I might ping like I don't know if I'll ping DGen Fox, but I'll probably ping those three roles at least. And if you know of anyone that had gotten, one of these scrolls, when that pops up, just hit them up if they didn't get a notification for it. So just want to throw it out there. Should be pretty fun. It's a pretty sizable allocation. I'll be honest with you, where I'm not 100% sure of the ins and outs of the project, but they've at least done a pretty solid job for capturing, decent attention with regard to the scroll allocations they've been giving out, and then also this cat GPT, which I'm pretty interested in kind of messing around with. So again, if you got one, try your hand at it. I'll say good luck, and I'm curious to see how the mint does in the current very interesting market. I still threw. I had to. Niao can't spend as much time as she spent on this for me to not bring the incredible comic back up that she had created. But I'll leave this up here. I'll probably scroll back to it too at the end when I go through questions. But uh, it's absolutely epic. It's just so well done. Um, had to share it again. And we'll jump to next slide. New York Hacker House. So I attended for a portion of the day for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I had meetings with people outside of it, so it was kind of honestly tough to like balance back and forth for a lot of things, but it was pretty cool. It was my first Hacker House. I don't know how many folks have attended them in here or that are will listen to this possibly on YouTube, but I thought it was pretty cool. I think I think there's like some level of organization that probably could be a little bit more optimized for the way it was set up. But the venue is that's called Webster's Hall. It is a music venue, so basically where the folks are presenting and chatting, which I grabbed a couple of pictures when Austin was chatting with Elizabeth Carpenter from Circle. Um, you know, there's like a little bit of auditorium seating, which you can kind of see in this picture here, the bottom right hand side. It might have been enough for maybe 25 people, 30 people. But for the most part, everyone was in these long tables that had just a ton of people at them. And there's all this like side chat, which is great. I think that for me, I think I got a lot more out of like the side chat than I did most of the presentations that were going on. Um, it just makes it like a very tough environment, especially for the presenters. Like I felt really bad. I presented a lot in my previous life when I know people were like majority paying attention to me. For these guys, I knew that most people were not paying attention and they didn't give a shit about like how loud they were being with other people and talking and all that kind of stuff. So I know the presenters, they did a fantastic job handling that. I would have lost my damn mind if I was up there. But um, but having said all of that, I had a chance to chat with, a few different foxes. I highlighted Hannah and Soul Slug or Slug Soul um, in our announcements. But yeah, it was awesome meeting, I mean, a ton of different people. Seeing some folks from the MonkeyDAO team, seeing folks like from other protocols and things that they're working on, things in the space, um, creating like dev shops and just a lot of awesome stuff going on. Some people, not really some people, one person wearing like a an SEC shirt that was like a satire shirt, which was kind of funny. And yeah, I mean like the vibes are pretty good. It was a good bit of people. I think in total, probably. I think they had signed up like almost 1,000. I know like almost at any given time there was at least 300 in there. And I know there were a ton of people that were around that weren't in it, that I had met up with and such, like just for like also like side events and kind of like hangouts. But but yeah, I thought it was pretty awesome. Highly would encourage in the future if there's a hacker house, around you or something like that, just to go check it out. Honestly, see if you can be involved. I was trying to figure out like the points of contacts for the hacker house. I know I'll iron it down a little bit better next time, for possibly being able to speak and all that kind of stuff because I think there's just a lot of value to it. And I should have actually included, I took other pictures too, but they had like a downstairs section in Webster's Hall that's kind of like a nightclub-ish. It's like really neat, like black and white, like neon stuff all over the place. It's like super trippy, but they had like VCs to chat with. They had people from Foundation, from Labs, from Ventures there. For you to set up like these 15-minute one-on-ones. I think one of the terms they had there too for like one of the events is like VC speed dating, which I thought was hilarious. Um, but yeah, I mean, regardless, would highly encourage in the future if a hacker house is close to you to jump in and check it out. It was no costs. The cost is getting in and out of the city and staying there and food and all that fun stuff. But it's well worth it for the presentations, for the things that are going on, and just honestly meeting other people in the space. I think is massive. And if you have a team and you want to work on something too while you're there and present it, they have demos they were doing today. So again, a lot of value for people, builders, not builders, and everyone in between, honestly. So just wanted to highlight that. I thought it was pretty cool, especially for being my first time at an official hacker house. And then this this was just Some side pictures I got at the city. So the top left one was at a place called Dumplin' and Dips, which was like 2 blocks away. They have pretty awesome food there. So if anybody's in New York and you like dumplings, um, highly would suggest checking that out. The the second one was just like walking around outside. There was this guy that had these like little puppets. He was I don't know what like the technical term for the person. It's not like a ventriloquist, but he had like these little puppets that he was like dancing on the side of like a park. I thought it was bananas. I had a puppeteer. The puppeteer makes sense. I thought it was bananas, so I had to take a picture of that. Top right was a balcony for someone that was like hosting a side event that I thought was gorgeous. That actually was on the really shitty day for anyone that's in the States, on the East Coast at least, that knew of the wildfires that were going on, or the fires, I don't know if you consider them wildfires, in Canada, where you just had like a lot of smoke and just like bad stuff in the air come through the East Coast, and it was like that. It was the worst day in New York. Top right hand picture. I should have probably got a better picture that just kind of showed you how cloudy like the buildings and stuff were to try to even see them. But I thought it was at least the balcony was kind of nice. We didn't go outside, but wanted to take a picture of that. Bottom left was like the most ridiculous New York Police Department cop car I've ever seen. It has to be like a ticket meter thing. You can't fit a person in the back of that if they had to like arrest somebody. But I thought it was absolutely hysterical. And then, of course, more food at a different like dim sum like place. So yeah, it was a pretty solid experience in New York. Again, the Hacker House is local to you. Highly would suggest checking it out for sure. And then that brings me to our missions and raids, which I think is the last slide I have in here. So missions are live, and our raid took an ungodly long period of time. I don't know if it was a combination of being level 52. I know we had a good bit that were eligible for it, so we still kept it at 120 as the cap. Um, but yeah, it took I think 3.5 hours to fill, if I'm not mistaken, and I think most of that time there was like 5 slots open at the end. Um, so I'm guessing that some folks might have done like a fame transfer or something like that just to bump their last like few foxes up to jump into the raid. But I thought I was gonna miss it. I was out earlier running errands, and when we got back, I mean I had plenty of time, plenty of time to get into it. I only have one tank top that was eligible. But yeah, so that was the raid. I know I put the spectacles image at the bottom, but the main fox that's wrecking this monster has the tank top on, of course. For missions, we did another like lower level mission. So headband, all headbands level 25 to 39 as a level gated mission. Uh, the other solo is a crown level 50 plus. Then for duos, we have valet hat level 48 plus and mutated level 48 plus and alien den. So the valet hat was 2 valet hats. Then for the trios, we've got two shades, which are the spy foxes. So that's the like regular looking sunglasses that are the darker ones, and the spy den. And then the last trio is 2 copes, level 50 plus. No, that's the level gated, max at 39. Um, Sorry about that. 2 copes, level 50 plus, and a cope den for the last trio. So if you haven't had a chance yet to launch your missions, jump in there, launch them when you can. Uh, Unfortunately, the raid has started, so anyone that has raid fox that was eligible cannot be thrown in there. And I think that was all that I wanted to cover. So I'll pause briefly and jump in for questions. If you don't throw questions in DAO VC, if you don't mind pinging me. Where's the voice chat? I'm not sure who A is, but I'll say you're welcome. One more tier 2 TFF sneak peeks. That's a good question, Muns. I think we probably should be able to throw one together and probably put something out there before Wednesday. My hope is we're ready to roll on Wednesday. So depending on what kind of sneak peeks you want, you'll be able to see them all on Wednesday. That's the plan. That's the unofficial plan. And hey Jericho, delay. I don't know, man. Is that still in Solana culture? Delay, or is that now ETH culture? Muns, you're fucking hilarious. I'm just looking at everything you guys are posting in Alpha Chat, killing me. Alright, I know at least 2 people pinged me. No number board, still standing where you think a spot is. Man, this is too good. This chat is too good. I don't even want to find the answers. Here, hold on. I wanted to show my wife. That's Alkine's Fox.
Ah, so neat.
Yeah, sick. I love the Duke Fox that Alkine guy created. Thanks, thanks for the ping, Bell. That you're listening.
I'm pretty sure that's the first Viking in 3D I've seen, but he's fucking shiny.
Oh man, Brink's about to go Hulk on your ass.
Why did he sound exactly like freaking Rick from Rick and Morty?
Brink loves Rick and Morty.
Got a Viking fox in here, Morty. But the only problem, he's shiny. That means he's gonna crash your browser, Morty. He's using too much memory. Oh god.
Oh jeez, Rick. Brink was doing the Rick voice, so someone's got to be his Morty.
Aww.
I'll be the Morty to your Brink, to your Rick.
I just have to soundboard it because everybody will just automatically just be like, "Oh, geez, Rick." Really don't have to do much else.
It's true. That's true. Man, sucks for Gweg. Gweg's gonna miss everything. 99%.
Yeah, people are gonna be really upset with me in a minute.
What are you gonna load in that thing that crashed the other portals?
No.
Are you making a different board style up?
It's just one big number.
Amazing. That makes sense. Is it 44?
Now it's 69.
Oh, I should have guessed.
Should have known.
If it's not 11, it
Simple
doesn't.
fool.
Yeah, if it's not 11, it doesn't matter.
You say the word when you're done, by the way.
What's that?
When you're all set, just say the word for the break takeover.
All right. Until I say the word, Maldo. So no, Muns had also mentioned when next one of one, when Den update. So for one of ones, we do have a few folks just like waiting to get back from. So once we get back, and it's like usually a little bit of back and forth to make sure they're kind of polished. We'll then go out with the next one of one. So it could be this Thursday, it could be next Thursday, it could be 5 Thursdays from now. But as of right now, we don't have like one that we're definitively saying like on this date we're gonna push another one out. I don't like to rush artists either, so I think that's important. I prefer people take their time because I want them to create what they want, not versus putting a strict timeline on things. So no official timeline for next one of one, and den update. Which den update are you referring to with that? It's gonna take me a minute. Yeah, I know I don't have a timeline on if it's not yet fully pushed as to when that will come out. But I know it's one of the few things that we're currently working on for I don't know if you would call it like quality of life improvements or what have you. But yeah, it seems to be running slow probably because I have so many things going. But yeah, I might leave it at that for now. I'll work on getting a better idea for a timeline. Maybe report back next week if it's not before then. So that's a fair question. And I guess too, I might as well highlight um, like two different items too that went down this week. So one was an issue with our RPC that we use for the front end on like a lot of tools. So we're going to have like a better plan in place for if that happens again. But basically, you could only interact with our contracts on chain, not via our site. So just as an example, like folks that were using Raffle or um, Citrus, if you have if you're using it the IDL or if like you're on these other websites, like Wolf Capital, I don't know if that's completely live yet, but like they would have been able to like repay loans and such like if they're interacting with just our contract and they have their own different UI, which I think will be good in the long run to have other platforms like that exist. But I just wanted to at least mention that we had an outage for I don't even know if it was an hour. I think it was actually maybe like a little bit more than an hour because we were waiting for them to update something on the RPC for us to just get it back. Um, but yeah, I wanted to at least mention that. And then the other piece too is there was a bigger issue that happened like sometime just after that for Magic Eden that impacted a lot of our tools as well that we are working to also like separate from that style that we have it structured as under Magic Eden. The primary reason we had that set up that way is based off of how like Magic Eden's process was for approving collections and making sure they're verified and all that fun stuff. We were more secure than like kind of how they had things set up. Whereas like I think there were like a couple of exploits that had happened with Utes
Drax.
or whatnot beforehand. Yeah.
Drax, I'm optimizing Alien Fox. The fucking texture has the icon of the Viking helmet in it. That's all.
Wait, what? Ridiculous. Um, but but yeah, so we're working on kind of making that separate. That way we don't get impacted when something like that happens again. From Magic Eden side, I don't think it's kind of fair to kind of screw up a lot of our stuff if they're down for a bit. And it took them a while to come back as well. I don't know the total downtime they had for it, but I know it was at least 12 hours, if not longer, which is a pretty long time. So we want to make sure that's like minimized in the future. But it's at least worth mentioning for folks that we do care about that, and we want to make sure at the end of the day that we have the best that's out there. So we'll make sure that that's improved going forward. Let me just see here. Mun's mislast portals. Will color changes be considered? Beard color. Oh, oh, you mean for the actual traits? That is something that we've talked about. Um, that I don't know if we have a definitive answer on, but I mean, in all honesty, we're doing like some variations for things such as like the Mario hat and Mario hat. I knew Brink was gonna fucking do that. Hat and body. So, I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense to have like some kind of an option in there. I mean, you know, it might be like a small Foxy burn or something for allowing people to do those options or something like that. We'll figure something out, but yeah, I think it'd be kind of fun.
Look at this pile.
Yeah.